All right, folks, the Week 12 day games are in the books, and kind of a strange week where the best two games of the week are on Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football. Two huge games left. Tonight we got the Eagles and the Rams. And for the Rams, if they win, they're all of a sudden find themselves at the top of the NFC West. And for the Eagles, they still got an outside chance of that one seed in the NFC and home field advantage throughout the playoffs, which is huge. And then tomorrow night, we got the Chargers and Ravens. So two great games left this week. But what happened today? So I want to start with the Chiefs. They survived today in Carolina, but it was not their best showing on defense. I thought their offense actually played really well. I thought this was Patrick Mahomes' best game of the season. He had 269 yards passing, another 60 yards rushing, and 3 touchdowns. And I thought he played really well, but the Chiefs just time and time again shot themselves in the foot. They gave up multiple pass interference penalties. There was one stretch on offense where they were inside the 10-yard line, first down, and they had 3 penalties in a row on 3 consecutive plays. And they had a fourth one, which was offsetting because the defense also had a penalty. But they were giving up penalties all day long, and their offensive line has looked really shaky here over the past few weeks. Today, with the second-to-last drive they had about 5 minutes left in the game. They get the ball back. In my head, I'm thinking, well, they're just going to run the clock down, and Carolina's not getting the ball back. Patrick Mahomes gets sacked twice in a row, and it did sound like on the broadcast today like they are getting some help back on the offensive line, and they're going to go out in the free agent market and try to pick someone off waivers. So we'll see what that does. But they're still in the driver's seat for the 1 seed, and they got a couple more easy games coming up. Number 2, the Texans have struggled all year long, and they're going to make the playoffs. They're still leading the AFC West. AFC South, No one's going to catch them. But this looks like a team that's going to be out early. They're destined for that 4 seed, and they're going to play either the Steelers or Ravens. And I think they're going to lose that game. I do not see them making it past the first round, which is disappointing because I had a lot of high hopes for C.J. Stroud and the Texans. And right now, C.J. Stroud is really struggling. They're late in the first half. He had under 60 yards passing. Their offensive line cannot block. They can't run the ball. And C.J. Stroud made a really crazy play today where fourth down, they needed to score to win, and he just stepped out of the back of the end zone for a safety, and the game was over. And I don't know what happened, but he has regressed since last year, and I think they're going to be a first-round exit. Number 3, the 49ers are in trouble, and I don't blame that loss on them today. They were down Brock Purdy and Bosa, so I'm not really surprised they lost. I would not have expected them to win in Lambeau, but I was really shocked that they gave up so much rushing yards. They gave up 169 rushing yards, and Josh Jacobs had the most broken tackles of any player this season. I don't care that they lost because Brock Purdy was out, but to give up that many rushing yards and that many broken tackles was really a shock to see out of the 49ers. That's just something you don't see with the 49ers. And now they go to Buffalo, which I think is really a must-win game. I think they have to win this game or their season is done, and that's going to be a really tall task. On the flip side of things, the Packers. Jordan Love was not very good today. He threw one terrible pick, and he had another one that basically hit the defender in the face mask. He could have had another one. But the way that they are able to rush the ball, I think Josh Jacobs right now is a top 3 running back in the NFL. They can run the ball really well. They can play defense. I think they're really well coached. And today wasn't Jordan Love's best game, but I think he's going to pick it up. And then number 4, the Commanders. That was a crushing loss today. The Cowboys were a team that was dead in the water. They can't beat anybody right now. And now the Commanders have lost 3 in a row. And they're still in the 7th spot. They still are in the playoffs as of today, but only by a game. And they've lost 3 in a row. They would have lost 4 out of the last 5 if it wasn't for a Hail Mary. And Jaden Daniels started the year really hot, but he has really struggled the past few games. And he just doesn't look like the same player. It doesn't seem like he can run the ball like he was the first half of the season. And they're lucky because they have a couple pretty easy games coming up. They got the Texans on Sunday. Then they get a bye before they play the Saints. So they could turn it around and string a couple wins together here before they play Philadelphia again. But this doesn't look like the same team that they did 5 weeks ago. And this is a team that's really headed down in the downward trend. So that's what I saw today. A huge week coming up with Thanksgiving. We got games Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. So it's going to be a fun week. And we'll talk to everyone later in the week.